For all your hemp wellness needs, information, products, parties, and merch, visit thebudplug.com. Promote your brand here at Viral Hip Hop News. Email me, Sam Ant at thehiphopnews.com. No, wait, let's
That's
go.
just a long story short, compressed in a few minutes.
No, and I definitely appreciate that. And there's some questions definitely want to ask about Seattle and how it is racially out there. But you brought up Kanye, so let's kind of pivot and go there because we see what he's going through. It's clear what he's going through. They making it clear to us every day with what they're, you know what I mean, the point they're trying to make. So what's your overall thought on there? I was listening to a lot of what you said on your YouTube platform a little earlier. I thought it was powerful, and you expressed a lot of the same sentiments that we express here, but you expounded in only a way you can. So mind sharing that for the people.
Yeah, man. You know, it's really psychological warfare that's been going on with our people since we've been in this place here. The beginning of that. Let me just say it like this. When the first 1619, when the first enslaved people, when they enslaved us, came here in Jamestown. I think they said maybe under 50 enslaved people were here. I can imagine for that first 5 to 10 years, and I'm going somewhere with this, I want you to follow me. I can imagine in that first 5 to 10 years that our people resisted the idea of being enslaved. I can believe that there was a lot of us that died, a lot of us that was fighting, But then over the next maybe 50 years, when there were children born into that condition, the idea of pushing back elude a lot of our people just because of the conditioning. There was an idea back then, a law, that if you ran away from slavery, you were a criminal. And I believe that after conditioning over 50 years or so, that people that were born in that condition really felt that way about themselves, that, hey, if we run away from this condition that we're in, we're criminals. And so that's some of the psychological warfare that goes on to this day. I have a friend that got out of prison, and I remember one day having a conversation with him. His name is Johnny. He said, man, I'm just an old convict. And I rehearsed to him the things that I'm saying to you. I'm like, you got to be careful with that. As a matter of fact, man, don't ever say that in front of me again. He was like, man, you tripping, Dre. So I explained to him the situation of the conditioning, right? So the dominant power, the dominant authorities have the right to make the laws, even if they're corrupt. We know a lot of laws were corrupt, right? And what they try to do and what they have been successful at doing is making us believe that everything that they've created or made is righteous and just, right? So my job, coming from the background that I came from, affords me a little bit more liberty to speak about certain things, because as far as these people are concerned, me coming from a pimp and a prostitute, I shouldn't have been able to be nothing, right? So if I would have took on that idea, that socialization, that indoctrination, then I would have never become who I am today. But I had to go outside of what that indoctrination was teaching me to find out some new information. Hence, when I found that new information about myself, I became empowered, right? So right now with the Kanye situation, they're playing on that indoctrination. Anybody that speaks against what's been going on, we know since maybe the 40s and 30s, that Jewish people just happen to be Jewish people, right? That have controlled the music industry and have taken advantage of a lot of artists way back then that they've complained about, right? That's still going on to this day. So now to point out an error, to point out something that is unjust, right? Because they're dominant right now, because they have the influence and they have the power. Whenever you speak against something that you feel is unjust against you or your people, they gonna tag you with the anti-Semitic title, right? To deflect from what the real issue is. So my job, I feel, was to give us some clarity, because we have this within ourselves. And I believe that's because of the conditioning over the many years, that we don't forgive each other very easily. We willing to forgive white folks that have done all they've done to our people over historic 400 years before we believe somebody that we forgive and give some grace and mercy to somebody black, right? And that's a character flaw within our people. So I was just simply saying, the brothers out there experiencing things in levels that a lot of us have not experienced. He's seeing things that are overwhelming him. And those things that are overwhelming him, he's just trying to get out of him. He's trying to convey them things. His father told him, listen, you might not say the things properly, right? But he's trying to get all that shit out of him that he's seeing through his experiences, and it's wearing him out. It's not about itself, because he wouldn't have put himself in the condition, you know, to have all this shit taken from him. It's for us, right? So I can relate to that, because when I was fighting police accountability, it was Black people that rose up against me, because we have been, you know, victimized, but we have this victim's mentality. I don't have a victim's mentality. I have a conqueror's mentality. All of our people should have a conqueror's mentality, being that we have come through the worst atrocities in the world given to mankind. So I've taken that, and I've taken those things, and I look at us and say, man, we're conquerors. So I have the conqueror's perspective, right? So as a conqueror, me over here fighting police accountability, Kanye over there trying to fight what he can fight in the music industry, we're maneuvering a different way that our people who are act like victims can't relate to, right? So because I didn't act like a victim, the people in this area pushed back against me until they saw what I was doing working. I just wanted to make sure that we wouldn't get on the bandwagon. Well, let me just say it like this. I can break it down where it's really simplified. You know, I have some brothers and sisters, and if they get in a situation with somebody, I don't allow nobody to talk about my brothers and sisters. I can talk about them. Our family can talk about them.
Right.
But you ain't gonna talk about them. You know that idea? You know, you can talk. You can't talk about them, but I can. So that's how I kind of feel with Kanye. We'll deal with him.
Yes, sir.
Right. But I'm not about to go along with you.
Yes,
like,
sir.
And smile and with you. Like, it's cool for you to be doing what you're doing. It's not cool for you to be doing what you're doing, because there's a history in this country. And don't forget that there's a history in this country. So I don't think that we should be hoo-hooing and laughing with white folks, Jews, or whoever, you know what I'm saying, that's trying to orchestrate the demise of a Black man or a Black woman. I'm not with that shit. And so I'm really upset about that. So I just feel like I take my belt off and give our people a spanking about their behavior and about them she-sheing with all these people that's trying to destroy. So yeah, the man's gonna make some mistakes. I said in my video, this is the first generation of wealth. We are now coming into wealth, right? And we are now experiencing and learning some things. And through that process of learning, we're gonna make a whole bunch of mistakes, right? But we are afforded a million mistakes, because this country don't give us none. No leverage to make mistakes. I've said in my video, they can go over there and a school shooter, Dylan Rolfe, take him to a Burger King, and you don't see no school shooter ever being harmed, but a Black man bet not jaywalk. You know what I'm saying? So just trying to bring some clarity to us, man, and extend what we got greater than anybody is that love. We got so much great love that we love all these oppressors that have done, and the colonizers that have done everything they've done to us, and we still got love. So why not extend that love to our own people? So that's where I'm at right now with it, fam.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, that's powerful, man. I was